Hello, my name is Titus. I'm with Bima from Group 3. We will to present about leadership presentation and graphic with leadership edge. First thing I want to talk about presentation. If we want to create a presentation and we want to deliver a message, information to your audience, you have three steps. First, plan. The second is prepare. The third is present also. First, plan. You have to determine what strategy do you want to use it. You just to give information in one direction of the speaking, or you are just want to make sure two direction. You deliver, and then you can ask other what thing that they want to ask more about your presentation in the middle of your presentation, or anything else. The next, you have to make sure what medium do you think that is the best for you, because you cannot use every medium with your best performance. Maybe can have one or two method that you can deliver your best performance, but not the other. So you have to make sure methods that you have to choose it. The next left second, prepare. You have to develop contents. So from first slides until the final slides, you have to make sure that your information will deliver smoothly. It means that you have introduction, you have in your main context, and also you on the ending you have to make sure a conclusion, which means that as long as you deliver the message with your presentation, you give the end a conclusion, so your audience will remind it what you just delivered to them. And then you have to master your content. That's right, because when something bad happens, maybe your computer broken, maybe your the electricity goes out, you still can deliver the message without the presentation, without the PowerPoint. You just master it. You have to know very well. So when the audience asks you something that you can answer it properly, you just have to master it. It's just the most important thing, I think. And then the next is present. Of course, you have to establish rapport with the audience. Why? Because when you deliver a message, when you're giving a presentation, you have to make sure you're giving audience your attention. Of course, and your audience give you attention to you from the beginning to the end of your presentation. Why? Because it is worthless if you just giving a presentation and your audience doesn't like what you have to say, doesn't have interest about what you presented. This is boring. And then the next, you have to minutes question and answer. Why? Because you have duration that limited. You have to make sure every audience will get the chance to ask the question, and you will get the chance to answer them without the extra time. And then assess result. It means that after you present something, after you present information, you have to make sure that your presentations work well, or you need to upgrade at some point or anything. Why? Because in the next presentation, maybe from different audience, or maybe from the same audience with a different material, you have to make sure they interest to you, and you will give full attention to them. So they will think that why I don't then go to him, because his presentation is good. Then I will to I want to listen what they presented. And then the next slide will be presented by my friend Bima.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna explain about the chapter 7. It is about the graphics with leadership edge. The first one that I'm gonna explain is the graphics purposes. There are 6 graphics purposes when we are going to put the graphics in our presentation. The first one, the graphics purpose itself is to reinforce the message. Reinforcing the message means that the chart captures and emphasizes the purposes and the data that we're going to serve to the audience. And second is to provide a roadmap to the structure of a presentation. Surely the chart should represent our structure in the presentation structure itself. And third one is to illustrate the relationships and concepts visually. So we put the charts to correlate between the concepts, between the relationships, the concept itself visually, because the audience usually found that much easier when we correlate that visually by a picture, in this case with a chart. And then to support the assertions, we put these charts to support our assertions that we are gonna put and that we are gonna explain in the slides. And then to emphasize the important ideas, surely we're gonna emphasize the ideas when we put the charts. We put the charts to make our ideas clearly by putting that chart or by putting the picture visually. And then to maintain and enhance the interest, we put the charts so we can make the presentation much more interesting by putting the picture there. The audience usually found the presentation that filled with just only text boring, so that we should, as a presenter, put some data, so that, and also the charts to make the presentation much more interesting. And then I'm going to explain the types of chart. There are 6. The first one is pie chart, and second one is line chart. The third one is bar chart. Fourth is histogram. The fifth is scatter plot, and the sixth is stack bar. You can find the usage of each of the charts in the slides. And then the last one, I'm gonna explain the guidelines for using the graphics in your presentation. The first one, you must select the graph that match your data. You cannot put any charts with your data spontaneously. You must plan and you must match the data that you are going to presentate with your charts. And then you should design the graphs. Make sure the graphs do not distort the data. So that's why you cannot choose randomly. You cannot choose the graphs randomly. You must match the charts with your data. And then you must put the title above the charts that captures the message of the charts that are going to represent it. And then you must make the original template of the presentation. This purpose is for so that your presentation is reflecting you or your organization that you are representate. And then finish the graph. Make the font size appropriate, not too small, and just in the right size. So put some color in your graph. It's not too colorful but not too plain. It's like black and white now. Just make some appropriate colorful. And then avoid overusing or misusing the animation in the graph. Just put it simple, put it meaningful, to be understood by the audience. That's the point.
Hello again. Yeah, I just want to give an example about presentation. Yeah, now I give you a presentation. I know that I still have something to improve. That's why this is the kind of presentation that you have to master it. In the previous video, I just mentioned that master content is the most important thing if you want to create a presentation, if you want to give information to the other. Why? Because when something goes wrong, maybe the information's missing something, you just can deliver them without the visual thing, something like that. And then you have to make sure your slides is readable, more interesting, and then don't put too much text. Why? Because when you put too much text, maybe audience from the far away will not see your text. They just count on what you speak up. Maybe what you speak it's good enough, it's good information, but maybe more important when you visual a thing on your slides. This is more important. And then you can choose the text to iconic to the picture, so your audience will understand without listening to you improperly. Maybe when you give presentation, your voice quite low and they not hear you clearly, but they just look around and at your presentation they will, oh, I get what you mean, something like that. That's why this is more important thing. Yeah, before we will end the presentation, I just made a video. I sing a song that the song we understand the lyrics, we know the lyrics quite well, but because my voice as a bass and the song the tone is quite high, so I have to make sure that I will reach that level. So when I sing, it's clearly wonderful. Yeah, I just proud of my voice. And then the next thing, I will make sure that every the sound around is not interrupt my video when I sing a song. So check it out. Lebih baik di sini, rumah kita sendiri, segala nikmat dan anugerah yang kuasa, semuanya ada di sini. Rumah kita ada di sini.